So I made a video a while back about how Chinese people sing while maintaining tones. The big problem with Chinese music is that Chinese has pitch changes on each and every syllable by nature of the language, and that's exactly what music does in every note to make it music. So after that video, I thought I had solved the age-old problem of Chinese singing, but apparently not, because so many of you in the comments asked me, what about rap? What about rap music? Does Chinese maintain tones in rap music? Do you guys really think that Chinese rapping is going to be so much better than Chinese singing? Well, you guys asked and I shall deliver. Time for me to put back on my music cap. And I'm going to tell you the science behind Chinese rap music. First of all, when people say rap, I'm assuming they mean the music genre associated with hip-hop, which has roots in urban African-American music scenes. Now, do you really think that Chinese people who have the global reputation of being dorky math and science nerds can spit out fire beats that resonate with a global audience? Well, apparently they can. Recently, the songs 大展宏图 and 八方来财因果 by Guangdong-based rapper Lan Lao, or Sky is Your God, blew up the internet. People were shocked that such a sick rapper could come from China. But rap wasn't always popular in China. Taiwan, which absorbed Western influences earlier than mainland China did, was way ahead of the curve in adopting hip-hop and rap in its music. MC Hotdog, commonly dubbed the father of Taiwanese hip-hop music, made rap songs as early as 2001. Even Jay Chou, the king of Manopop, has dabbled in rap many times in his 20-plus year career. However, it wasn't until 2017, when a program looking for the next big thing in Chinese hip-hop, the Rap of China, became a smash hit in mainland China, that rap finally started taking off in the country. The Rap of China was produced by the aforementioned MC Hotdog and an ex-EXO member who shall not be named, among others. But before the success of the show, many Chinese musicians had doubts that rap music could even work with the Chinese language. Cui Jian, often dubbed the grandfather of Chinese rock, said that it is very hard to adapt lyrics in Chinese to fit this very Western genre. Even the king of Manopop himself, Jay Chou, has said that he deliberately takes off the four tones in rapping. He says, we can't take into consideration the tone shapes in rapping, or else it would sound like 鼠来宝. 鼠来宝? What's that? Sounds like something whack, doesn't it? Well, what Jay Chou is referring to is a type of rhythmic chanting tradition dating back as far as the Song Dynasty, making it about 1,000 years old. 鼠来宝, now commonly called kuaibar, is a folk music tradition that involves performers speaking in rhythmic verses over a backdrop of zhubar, or bamboo clappers. Originally, kuaibar was a way for poor street performers to make a living, and they often performed ad hoc, talking about everyday life.
打起这个竹板不啰嗦，表一表，梁山的好汉武二哥。二武松替兄报仇杀了嫂，发配就往这个孟州挪，大堂以上。
The cool thing about kuaibar is that it can be done solo, as a duet, or in a group, as it's more of a performance art similar to xiangsheng, or Chinese crosstalk, aka two-person stand-up comedy. And because kuaibar is kind of like comedic storytelling, the tones are mainly retained in kuaibar because you're doing like a live performance and people don't really have the ability to look at lyrics. It's definitely a far cry from the heavy-hitting spitfire that rap music is known for today. However, rap music wasn't always like this either. If we go way back, we can trace the roots of rap music to the West African griot tradition. And griots were historians, musicians, diplomats. They often delivered stories rhythmically over drums and other local instruments. African Americans continued this tradition in the New World, often singing and performing spoken poetry about life under slavery. And this would lead to the creation of blues music, jazz music, and eventually hip-hop and rap music. If you think about it, Chinese people and African people both use rhythmic speaking to tell stories about everyday life hundreds of years ago. And I think that's really beautiful. Okay, back to the story at hand. Chinese musicians have lamented for years the difficulty of making Chinese rap verses to beats. But what exactly is behind the science of rap music? And what makes it difficult to adapt for the Chinese language? According to music theory professor Mitchell Ohriner, rap occupies a liminal space between speaking and singing. Maybe or maybe not coincidentally, the Chinese translation for rap is 说唱, which literally means speak, sing. Ohriner found that rap phrases have a smaller or reduced pitch range compared to regular speech. Here's someone speaking.
Made by Iggy Azalea. Oh, what song made Iggy Azalea famous?
And here's them rapping.
Overall, I thought you knew that I'd be the ziji, put my name in bold. I've been working, I'm up in here with some change to throw.
In terms of speed, there are differences between old school rap and the rap that's popular today. Research has shown that normal speech rate in English is 6.19 syllables per second. Rap's overall speech rate is 5 syllables per second across all subgenres. But in the recent trap subgenre, the rate is 6 to 7.5 syllables per second, which is faster than regular speech. Now, how does Chinese compare? Well, compared to English's average speech rate of 6.19 syllables per second, Mandarin's speech rate is 5.18 syllables per second. This makes Mandarin one of the slowest languages in the world. This phenomenon can be explained by syllable density, which states that languages with information-dense syllables don't need as many syllables to convey information, so they tend to be slower. In Chinese, each syllable is a meaningful morpheme and has a tone, which makes each syllable carry more information. This is a big reason that makes Chinese a difficult language to rap with. The godfather of Chinese rock, Cui Jian, once said, "I have tested the limit of rapping in Putonghua. It doesn't have a strong capacity to integrate rhythm, and it's not fast enough." However, recent releases by Chinese rap artists show that speed isn't a problem. In the 2016 song Gai Ai by the hip-hop group Higher Brothers, Mello spits out 8 to 10 syllables per second in the fourth verse. Okay, so we can see that Chinese rap can be fast, it can be rhythmic, but can it be understandable? Now that is a completely different story. Research has shown that the falling contour is a key element of rap phrases. As rap has many similarities with speech, rap phrases naturally end on a falling contour. This has been shown in many English rap songs, and the closing syllable usually ends on a rhyme. And this is great, this is fine, it works really well for English rap music, but if you know anything about the Chinese language, you will know that this is not fine. Now, Chinese does have a falling contour, that's tone 4, but there's also 3 other tones, so not every word ends on a tone 4. And despite the fact that changing the ending rhyme into a falling contour would completely change the meaning of the word, Chinese rap artists still do this all the time. In Made in China by Higher Brothers, no-no's ending rhymes are also all realized as a falling contour on peng, yong, meng, and tong. However, Chinese rappers are not dumb, and they do try to pair tone 4 to the ending rhymes for this specific reason to make it make sense. In Ma Siwei's song 崂山道士, tone 4 syllables account for 9 of the 13 total ending syllables. Quite impressive. Okay, so I think we've seen that rap music's speed and overall phrasal patterns seem to not work so well with the Chinese language. But how often are Chinese tones totally obliterated in Chinese rap music? Well, luckily for us, about 2 years ago in 2013, Liu and colleagues conducted a comprehensive study looking at the lyrics of over 140 Chinese rap songs. They judged congruence of tone in the songs based on a tonal congruence index. Each syllable gets a maximum of 1 point based on 2 subcategories. Number 1, register, height of the syllable. If the register, whether it was high, mid, or low, matched, the syllable would get 0.5 points. And number 2, the shape, the contour of the syllable. If the realized contour, whether it was flat, rising, falling, etc., matched the actual tone's contour, that syllable would get 0.5 points. They compiled a corpus of over 140 songs, ranging from Jay Chou's pop repertoire to the early 2000s boom bop music, as well as the more recent trap genre. The results showed that out of the 3 major subgenres, the 2000s boom bop subgenre showed the highest amount of tonal congruence, with Jay Chou's style trailing far behind and the trap genre falling in last place, although not significantly lower than Jay Chou's. The overall trend shows that the older boom bop artists tend to stick with the tonal constraints of the Chinese language, while newer and more recent trap artists tend to disregard tone contours and registers. In other words, older rappers were quite bashful, and they were kind of sorry that they couldn't match their rapped pitches to the tone contours of those syllables. Whereas now, young and upcoming Chinese rap artists, they could really care less about matching tone contours, and they're quite unapologetic about it. Another big aspect of Chinese rap music is that from the early 2000s up until now, Chinese rap artists tend to have a preference for including their local dialects into their music as often as they can. So I mentioned Higher Brothers earlier, but I didn't mention that they're actually a group from Chengdu, Sichuan province. And 3 of the 4 members in the group are actually born and raised in Chengdu and are fluent in Sichuanese, which is a dialect of Mandarin. Their leader, Ma Siwei, has said in an interview that using Sichuanese is an advantage. There are just a lot of words in Sichuanese that have a sound and flavor that just don't exist in standard Mandarin. And their songs blend Sichuanese, Standard Mandarin, and English. Similarly, Shanghai-based hip-hop group Haibang or Heibang, dubbed China's first hip-hop group, has said that their native tongue, Shanghai Wu, is more musical and can help them achieve better flow than Putonghua, Standard Mandarin. This shouldn't be surprising, as rap music is a genre that relies heavily on language and expression, and using our mother language is often much easier for us and much better for us to convey our thoughts with. Another big thing to note is that the use of English words in Chinese rap songs has increased steadily over time, perhaps with its ability to help with rhyming, to achieve better flow, or to reach international audiences. Probably all 3 of the above. Jay Chou, the king of Manopop, is famous for incomprehensible lyrics even while singing, let alone rapping. And that has led to many people to believe that he purposefully makes his words difficult to understand so that people will reach for the lyrics, kind of, expanding the amount of time they spend with his music. Regardless of the reason, his lack of intelligibility in songs clearly has not hurt his popularity in any way whatsoever. In the end, language is just a small barrier when it comes to musical expression. Even English, the universal international language, has shown less than stellar intelligibility in songs. A 2050 comparison of 12 English language song genres showed that rap music had an intelligibility rate of 68% compared to 72% across all musical genres. Maybe forcing listeners to reach for the lyrics is a tactical move, something that Chinese rappers and singers can use to their advantage, perhaps more than artists of other languages.